Good morning, brothers, sisters, and seekers of every tribe, tongue, and nation. I hope that you have a blessed morning and a even more blessed day as the day goes on. Just remember, we have so much to be thankful for. You know, we have a lot to be thankful for. But what I wanted to talk about this morning is something I've been talking about in the recent weeks and maybe even months now. Yeah, I say maybe like the last 2 months, is what's going on politically in the United States of America. So what's going on between the two sides. We have the GOP, which stands for the Grand Old Party, and we have, thank you, and we have the Republican Party. I'm sorry, the Democrat Party. One is called the left, one is called the right. Okay. Which I think it's so highly deceptive how the Republicans are called the right. Because when you think of right and left, especially us who are believers, right? Because we understand from a spiritual aspect, we look at the right as like the right hand of God, as like the right is something that is holy, versus the left being like where the goats are, that's just how we think, that's just how we're conditioned spiritually in our minds to think. So when you hear the right, you automatically may subconsciously place them in a category of righteousness or holiness, which isn't true. But anyway, what I was thinking about as we're seeing what's going on right now with how the Democrats they're sweeping, right, during this time, what is it called, the primaries, and they're taking it. And I'm wondering if the Christians, the true ones, that are actually true Christians on the right, I'm wondering if they're taking heed to why this is happening. Now, I mentioned this I have the video, will the GOP be the Saul of 2028? And then I have another video talking about, what is that other video titled? I can't even remember it, but the title of it. But basically, I know I had spoke on also in that video, I was speaking on how what's going to be the destruction of the Republican Party is their racism. Now, like I said before, I understand why true Christians anyway really want nothing to do with the Democrats. I understand that because the Democrats are very immoral. They're very immoral. And however, one thing that's happening and that people have to pay attention to is that the Republican Party is just as immoral. It's just in a different way. And then in other ways, they are also becoming the same type of immoral as the left, like with the whole sexual perversion. That's a thing of the past with the Republicans, them standing against that's a thing of the past. Open your eyes, stay woke. See, that's why they want to demonize the word woke, because you're in slumber, you won't see these things, right? So it is Yeshua himself who told us to be awake. To say anything other than that is demonic. It's demonic. To demonize that word, you are in agreement with a demon. That's it. So anyways, what they are doing is they are they're different. They're just a different brand of wickedness. They're against things that God is very, very much for, and his people cannot be in agreement with that. His people can't be in agreement with that, and that is why I'm an independent, registered independent, and quite frankly, thinking about dropping that too. There just needs to be something called kingdom, right? And of course, we're never going to see that, but we can still live that. What I wanted to say, because I am going to get into the racism of the Republican Party once again, but so like I said in the videos that I've created concerning this, I've said that if the Republican Party does not get their racism under check, right, in check, and if they do not start their spokespeople that are out there, who are their main voices, who they're pushing racism, they're pushing people, like I said, people are going to self-preserve. They are not going to sit there and support you when you're telling them to their face, you would be better off in slavery. They're going to give you the power that when you're telling them, you know what, all immigration needs to end. Even the legal immigration needs to end. Do you think people are going to hand you power? They're not going to do that. They're going to self-preserve. They're not going to vote you in. And like I said, the Republican Party is tone deaf. You didn't pull this win by yourselves. It took people who don't normally vote that way to swing red. That's how that happened. Why did they swing red? Well, again, because people who are more traditional at the core did see the filth that the left was trying to normalize into the country, into society, into workplaces, into places people go work out in the gyms and things like this. Yes. Oh, Lord, where am I going? Am I going the right? I'm up here talking and then got off course for sure. I didn't want to have to, oh my gosh. I didn't want to have to put this on, but I think I have to. 1 second. A moment, sorry. I didn't want to have to put this on, but I have to. Because my mind will get to, okay, I'm still going to be on time. That works. So anyway,
your route avoids a slowdown on I-5.
And
you're on the fastest route. You should reach your destination by 7:58 a.m.
Excuse her for her chitter. You know what? Actually, I know where I'm at. Okay, so back to the Republicans. So people who are more traditional. We could see this, right? People who come from, like I said, Black families are typically more traditional. Latino families are typically more traditional. So when you begin to see, okay, what is happening here? What is happening? What do you mean? A born man who thinks he's a woman can be in the same changing area with my little 4-year-old daughter. Things like that, things in the cartoons, just wicked stuff. And so, yes, people start saying, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. And you could see it, how it was just becoming very normalized. And you can see the corruption of the minds of the youth. So anybody worth an inch, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I'll put it this way. Any true believer will not go for that. Any true believer will say, this can't be, I can't co-sign this. I can't co-sign these abortions. I can't co-sign this kind of life. I can't co-sign this kind of wickedness. And that's the bottom line. Okay. But then, I had to start seeing it from their perspective too, who did vote left, who did swing left. I could see it clearer now than I could, I think, came vote time. I can see it clearer now because they're saying, okay, yeah, those things are evil, those things are wicked, but so is racism. So is, the things the right stands for, and the truth. And it is the truth. So, that brings us to understanding that neither is righteous. No, not one. Neither is righteous. No, not one. So when, so people are going to vote in their better interest. What they feel like, okay, this is actually serves me better than this one does, right? And so what you find is that people who aren't very much affected by racism, right, doesn't really affect their day-to-day lives, okay? They really don't have to worry about police immunity because when they're stopped by a police officer, it's all love, right? They're not afraid of the police, okay? The police really do protect and serve them. Understand me? So they are voting in their better interest. They don't care about people not eating. They don't care about the social justice issues, even though God said to care about those things. Okay? They don't care about the fatherless. In fact, they'll demonize the fatherless. Like, the scrutiny that was on the Black community for not having present fathers in the home. That's a sickness. That's something that it's hurtful. That's something God wants to heal. Not condemn, but heal it. Fix it. Okay? But if your heart doesn't connect to any of that, you don't care. So you're going to vote right. You swung right. You didn't care about the sin of the right, But what you can't do and what you won't do anymore is make their sin look white as snow. That's over. So, anyway, the racism of the right is going to be the downfall of the right. Why? Because people are going to self-preserve. You cannot have these radicalized people speaking on behalf of the right, and then you can say, well, we don't all feel that way. It doesn't matter. The people who are your face, the people who represent you, are radicalized racists. Talking about black people were better off in slavery. Who in the world do you think is a fool enough to give you power so that you can begin to unravel protective laws? No one's going to do that for you. Like I said, all immigration shit in. Not just the illegal immigration, not just the sneaking in the country. No, not that. They want to take it a step further. No, we need to cut off all immigration. As a matter of fact, those of you who are here legally, we're going to look into your history and see, are you really here legally? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you were born here. Okay, we're taking away birthright citizenship, which that's fine if you moving forward, if that's, how it's going to go. Because people do take advantage of that. They do use that. I know that. I've heard them say it before it become what it is now. Before the microscope got on them, they would say that. They would say, "Wow, America's really dumb. Like, people can just fly here, have a baby, and now their baby's a citizen there and gets all the benefits of the country." That's whack. That's super, super usy. Like, that's using a country, right? And that's not cool. But anyway, what about people who, they're already here. They've been here all their life. This is all they know. Oh, yeah, kick them out too, send them, deport them. And it's actually happened where people who don't know anything else have been deported to countries, even though it's the country of their origin. They never lived there before. They don't speak the language. They, by all intents and purposes, they are American. That's what they are. And to just uproot them from all they ever known, that's heartless. That's heartless. So anyway, things like that. People are going to preserve themselves, okay? And that's what I said. I said, is the GOP going to be a King Saul? Meaning that God gave you the power to turn those wicked things around that we all saw happening. But no, you didn't do that. In fact, some of it you're actually in agreement with it anyway. Like I said, they're just as gay as the left. They're not. They're just as gay, and it's going to be more normalized. We saw the two conservative men that are married and that are trying to create a baby by pseudo means. You know how, because a man can't have a baby with a man, so they have to go through these extremes to get a baby to be at least of one of their bloodline, right? To be to be natural, biological to at least one of them. So that's on the right. That's happening on the right. Okay? So you can't even use that anymore. You can't say, oh, they're standing up against LGBT. No, they're not. They are the same. They are the same. But, so I'm just curious to know. I'm wondering if I'm going to see the day when the Christians, those who really are, when they really say, wow, the racism is what it really destroyed this party. Because I'm telling you right now, if the Democrats get the power back, you're not getting it for a very long time to come. A very long time. It's pretty much going to be over for you. It's going to be over for you. And I guess we can all kiss tradition and all of these things that we hoped would be restored. I guess we can kiss it goodbye. Now, do I believe that if the Democrats do take all of the power back, is the country going to go to that dark place that we were trying to avoid it going to? Yes, unfortunately. I mean, we'll have to really be on our stuff. I mean, we have to really be praying and battling, but and protecting your kids. Like, that's all I can say. That's all I can say is you have to really teach your own children, protect. I will get them out these public schools. Now, my son is an adult, but when he was little, I put him into a Christian private school. Ain't much different. ain't much different. I mean, the curriculum is different. I say that much. The influences on the children, they're still getting it. It's still there. I mean, I honestly look back and think like I could have saved that money. To tell you the truth, I could have saved that money. But anyway. Oh, and then I wanted to mention this too. So there are certain people of the Republican Party that were kind of some of the biggest mouths as far as when it came to demonizing, ridiculing, targeting the black community, right? Isolating the Republican Party has been very known for isolating the black community. And the black community is always has been swinging. Did I miss my turn again? How did that happen? Okay. I guess because all of these detours are going on. Anyway, the Republican... Oh, goodness. The Republican Party, the black community has voted Republican for many, many years now. And we're not going to go into a whole history lesson of how that happened. And how the changes, like the Democrat Party, and the changes that have occurred with the Democrat Party, because as far as I understand, it wasn't always like it is today, as far as I understand. But what I was going to say is that there are people who they were some serious spokespeople, and they're not even, some of them aren't even, I'm not going to say they're not American. Okay, what in the heck is going on here? Can I... road closed? Why didn't you guys let me through if the road is closed? That doesn't make sense. See where I'm at? I don't know about y'all, but there's always road work going on. Yeah, exactly. They're looking like, why did they let me through? They stopped, like, looking like, what's going on? Why did they let us through? Oh, I know why they let us through. Because we could live on the sides over here. No, I don't. But, okay, thank you, sir. Sorry, guys. So, jeez. So, anyway, some of these people include people, and I'm not going to say they're not American, they're just from a different country, or, okay, so the people I have in mind right now are the Indians, like Vivek Ramaswamy, what's his name, D'Souza, whatever, these type of people, right? And so now they're catching all the strays. It's not even a stray, these are direct hits. I mean, they are being dogged out, right? To the point now they're just like, well, what's going on? Why are they talking to us this way? It's like, duh. What have we been saying they're racist. That's what they are. And even some of the
Your route avoids a road closure on Nyanza Road Southwest. You're on the fastest route. You should reach your destination by 8:02 a.m.
Perfect.
In a quarter mile, at the traffic circle, take the first exit onto Gravelly Lake Drive Southwest.
Okay, I might have to block that out. I have to go through a couple of my videos and delete stuff. But anyway, so a lot of the people who were some of the biggest supporters of racism towards black people that coming from the Republican Party are suddenly now getting the effects of that racism. So you reap what you sow, okay? God is not mocked. You reap what you sow. First of all, to have the audacity to come into a country where the people that have been a great major part of the legacy of the building of the country, okay, and even in creating fair and just policies that protect that protected you, to come and then to just completely demonize and target us. The audacity of you. First of all, you were wrong in the first place. Also, what's his name? Like the American white Jews. They're also confronting the racism. They're saying, like, and for them it would be more like, I guess they call it racism. It's really, because it's a religion, it's really I don't know what you would call that. But that's how they categorize it. And they're saying, okay, what's up with this? Like, the right is really targeting us and really, spewing all this hatred towards us. Well, is that right, Ben Shapiro? Is that right? Because I don't like Ben Shapiro. Let me tell you, I don't like Ben Shapiro. I think that Ben Shapiro is a major factor in how Black American and white American Jews, how that relationship began to sour. I think that he's a major factor in that. He's a talking head, and he would just stay on our top. He would not give us a breathing break. And he was one of the first to do it. That I recall. So, and I remember I had no idea the man was Jewish. And I was just like, this little racist. And then one day I found out he was Jewish. And I was like, well, why is he talking about us like that? Knowing, the things that they complain about. And it didn't seem right to me. But then you began to see a lot of their attitudes towards us too. And I was like, well, dang, okay, that's how it is. And now things are turning on them. Which some of that, obviously, we can debate whether or not that's prophetic. Like I said,
in a quarter mile at the traffic circle, take the third exit onto Veterans Drive Southwest.
As I read Revelation, I'm having some. I got some more questions. Sometimes you're just taught something, just to find out. Oh, no wonder I went through the roundabout, a different roundabout. That's what happened. But anyway, so Ben Shapiro, I think he was one of the worst things to happen between the Black American and white Jewish relationship. I think
half a mile,
has
turn
a big hand in that souring, because I have heard some white Jews question, well, what happened to our relationship? We were good with each other, we supported each other, and now it's like, and I heard it was a white Jewish woman, who said, it's like y'all turned on us. And this was in a video, and I wished that I could talk to her. I wish that I could say, well, not really. This is what happened. From my recollection, like y'all was acting like any old white supremacists on us. Like you was talking crazy about us. And that's what that's how I recall it happening. But anyway, I'm getting off track. The point is, they are also confronting the racism in the Republican Party. And they're like, what's going on? Like, this can't, this is crazy. And then you have the Black...
Take the second left. Then your destination will be on the left.
The Black conservative right, they're also white nationalists, and they've played the role of one for many, many years, right? So that they also look down their noses on the Black community. They also they create these arguments. They know it's not true. They don't address anything but the Black community. They never address they address the symptom, and they don't address the problem. They're cowards. At the end of the day, that's what they are. They're cowards, right? And so, and a lot of them also claim to be Christians. No, you're not. No, you're not. What you're doing, even just because you're Black, it doesn't mean that you can lie on the Black community and put a target on the backs of the Black community, and also act in an unjust fashion because you are Black. It does not absolve you of that guilt. It doesn't absolve you of that. So you were a puppet for these people. You are a tool for white supremacist ideologies to be passed along, and for the fight that Black people have engaged in for many years, trying, things that we were finally, some things that we accomplished, some things just to be, just to walk in some just some kind of justice, some kind of retribution. How people like them will come and tear that down. You are what does the Bible say? It says that those who don't do for their own household, you're worse than an infidel. Apply that same concept. This is your own ethnic group, and you're coming and tearing down things that were built up to help us. The justice God gave us. Because that came from God. That boldness, that courage that went on in the civil rights, that was from the power of the living God. And here you come with your little cowardly self, looking for your own hide, looking for your own behind, trying to get that bag and get that check from these white conservatives. You didn't care what you were saying. You didn't care what it did. As long as you thought you were safe. Oops, you weren't. You weren't. Because now they calling y'all all kind of N-words. They letting y'all know you ain't been nothing to us. But they know, like I said before, nobody trusts a snake. Nobody trusts you. People like them have more respect for people like me. And I don't care about their respect. Oh, that's why. I don't care. Your respect's not needed. Does God love me? Does God respect me? Am I made in the image of God? Oh, okay. Then whatever you think and say, irrelevant to me. Right? People don't respect people who will throw their own group of people under the bus for a payday, especially when they know what they're saying and doing is wrong. Now, when you're just telling the truth, that's different. When you're just addressing, the sin in the community, and you're just addressing like, hey, and out of love too, like, listen, this is my community. I come from you. I was birthed out of you. I know who you are. This is the path you're going on, or this is happening, that's happening. Let's do this. Let's build ourselves up. Let's fix this or whatever. That's one thing. That's totally different. That I understand. That's what I'm on. But when it comes to you're just a talking head for white supremacy and you're a liar, like, you know what goes on with police within the black community, especially with our boys, and you're going to sit there and you're going to act like you don't know that kind of stuff. And consistently, you're on their top, but you're not saying the full picture. You're not addressing injustice. No, you're just a coward. You're a coward, and you're not speaking the word of God. You're speaking your own little cowardly heart. And here's the thing. God says he speaks on cowards in Revelations. You better read it. You better read what he said about you. And so anyway, but you still reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. What happens? Look at them right now. Their feelings are so hurt. What did you think? You honestly thought these people who, yeah, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. So here are many of them. They are just confronting the racism. And like I said, racism in the right is going to destroy them if they don't change it. It needs to be changed. They need to get rid of those talking heads that push racism. And then they need to stick to what they said they were about, which were the core values of the nation. Things like traditional families, things like, man, is that all they ever stood for? Is there anything else? I can't say, lifting up the oppressed, because I don't know them to be like for anything like that. It almost seems like they really don't have anything else to offer except for that it's to benefit Caucasians and Caucasians who are already pretty well off on top of that. And also what I don't really understand either, and I'm saying this from a pure place, because I do know that I have white male friends and things like that, and we talk and stuff, but I am saying from a pure place, I don't understand the infantilizing of white men. I don't understand it. White men are the most powerful people really on the planet, right? So what's this with their victims? I've heard the right say that they are the victims of what? Victims of what? What, victims of people not liking them? Is that what you're saying? I wouldn't think a king would really care, but I guess. So anyway, I'm here at my location. I gotta go. But that's one thing I want to say. Look at everything I said was going to happen. It's already starting to happen. And, I don't know. I just hope all I can say is the only thing they can do is change that racist rhetoric. And it could be even too late for that. It honestly could be too late for that. But for the Christians who you've sat here, you've went along with lies, you've said things that have not been true. I wonder if you will ever admit that. Now that you see these things, this word is coming to pass. I wonder will you ever admit that one, the right had that you had it and you blew it. You had the power. God gave that power to you. And already, New York swept right on through. And I think they said another place too. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's just, we'll see. And we'll see if the racism on the right ever gets addressed.